High alum and former 49er quarterback Colin Kaepernick is once again trying to make a comeback. Check this out. The artist J. Cole, a friend of Kaepernick, released on Twitter a letter that the QB sent to New York Jets owner Joe Douglas asking to join the team's practice squad due to their depth issues at quarterback. Kaepernick writes he believes in the current starter, Zach Wilson. He's not there to be after his job. Instead, he wants to help the defense prepare for this week's opponents each week, and still thinks he's in great shape.
You know I got my Bama hat on, so it must be a sports story we're going to talk about. And it is. And it's one of those stories that I knew and figured was going to come, and it came sooner than I thought. And that story is related to Colin Kaepernick begging to be a part of an NFL team, the New York Jets. Colin Kaepernick, you remember Colin Kaepernick, the one that took the knee back in 2016, the one that considered and called the NFL similar to a slave operation.
Searching for any defect that might affect your performance. No boundary respected. No dignity left intact.
Yeah, that same Colin Kaepernick is now asking to be a part of the organization that he sued and settled with, and the one that he claimed operated as a slave plantation, that operated as a plantation that poked and prodded black people just like slave owners did. The same person, Colin Kaepernick, the same person that was a useful idiot that the Marxists and the communists and the socialists decided to use to bring division. But what he didn't realize is that once his usefulness was done, he will be discarded. And that's what useful idiots don't recognize here in America, that they're only being used to serve a purpose to destroy this nation upon race. And you have people like Stephen A. Smith who recognizes this fact.
Essentially asking that they consider him to play on their practice squad. Kaepernick's letter to the Jets was shared on social media by rapper J. Cole with permission from Kaepernick. Just to be clear, Colin Kaepernick at the time, along with his lady and others in his camp, were looking for one team to show interest in him. 26 teams showed up. 26. I personally at that time went on national television and announced to the world that I was being told Colin Kaepernick would have to throw the football into the stands in order to not have a job in the NFL in 2 weeks. So what does Colin Kaepernick do just hours before that practice session, that tryout session, that workout session at the Atlanta Falcons facility in November of 2019 was set up? Just hours. Kaepernick chose to hold it at Charles Drew High School, 60 miles from the Falcons facility. NFL personnel who was in attendance, who flew from all over the place, didn't know about the workout until approximately 2 hours before it took place, which means they were going to have to drive about an hour and 20 minutes to a high school field because Colin Kaepernick wouldn't sign some waiver that the NFL had drew up, and he went to the practice facility or to the high school facility to conduct his own workout separate and apart from them. His belief, his mantra was, hey, you know what? They want me to sign a waiver that no other player had to sign. The NFL says, of course, our waiver is different. We're conducting a workout for an individual player, which is something we've never done in our history. And since we've never done that in our history, why in God's name will we not protect ourselves when it comes to conducting a workout for a player for the first time in league history who had just sued us? Now, Kaepernick is quick to talk about how he's training 3 hours a day, Monday through Friday for the last 6 years to stay in shape for a potential comeback. Stop. Stop, bro.
And it's sad to see that. It's sad to see that everybody got behind Colin Kaepernick. But Colin Kaepernick never was a vocal leader for racial justice, if you will. He said a few things here and there. He did a few things here and there. He wrote a book and did this and did that. But Colin Kaepernick was never really about that social justice life, man. Yeah, he sacrificed his NFL career for 1 year. But he had plenty of opportunities to get back in the NFL. But I don't think Colin Kaepernick, deep down in his heart, wanted to play in the NFL, because if he played in the NFL, see, that went against the narrative. Because the narrative was that the NFL, just like the rest of America, is systemically racist. And so all the institutions in America are racist. And so therefore, you can't rail against the institution for years and years and years and then come back and try to be a part of that institution. That's like a slave who ran away, but then had a change of heart and decided to go back to the slave master. But Colin Kaepernick, to him, it's all about that money. I think it's because that money is starting to dry up, right? Because if you're not, quote unquote, doing something to bring awareness to social justice, you're not benefiting the Marxists and the communists and the socialists and the elites that want to use you, like I keep saying, to divide America based upon race. They want us to be victims. They've used you, Colin Kaepernick, and made you a victim. You have been victimized by the same people that claim to support you, by the same people that claim to be in your corner. But now you realize that that money train is drying up, that you no longer have access to that capital that you had that was coming freely when things were at the height. See, that's another thing that's happening too that people don't recognize. This whole DEI push, this whole social justice push is starting to be quietly swept under the rug. See, they've used all the useful idiots, BLM, Colin Kaepernick, all the other race hustlers, all the other grifters. They're starting to be pushed under the rug because they no longer serve their purpose. They have a new batch of division activists. They have a new batch of activators, if you will, the LGBTQ mafia. So they're pushing the racial folks to the side. They're no longer important. The racial idolatry folks, nah, they're pushing them to the side. That's what's happening. See, that's what people don't realize. That is what is going on behind the scenes. They're shifting. They're shifting from using race primarily to divide us to using gender, sexual orientation. You want to know why? Because they can get a longer runway with that. They can go further with that than they could with the racial grievance, because I knew people will realize after a while, hold up, man, this racial grievance stuff, this is not true. America's not systemically racist. America's not full of people walking around that are racist. Nah, so they're pivoting from that, and they're starting to use this LGBTQ mafia in order to do it. So Colin Kaepernick, the useful idiot who's been exposed, and now he wants to go back in the NFL. Sorry, bro. Your days as a quarterback are done.